My name is Michael Koran. This is AHA. You won't see me this evening. You've seen me enough. I had a choice, thanks to Alfonso Mateo, I think that's his last name, at CCTV. He was able to put this poem up so you can see it. But we not yet high-tech enough, we once were, to be able to switch from the poem to us being able to see, well, you being able to see me. We haven't yet got, I guess if it was Zoom, I could see you. But welcome. I chose to let you see the poem, and you can hear me behind the poem. This poem is certainly about me and maybe many of us and maybe our world. It's called Rot Art. I'll share it with you once, and then we can talk about it. Rot Art. Rotting to the core. Rotten to the core. By infecting sores, rot me through my core. If you are my friend, here's what's in store. Irritated raw wounds corrupt your core. When you are my love, treated like a whore, festering with sores, will rot many cores, will love making war, breaking all the laws, explode rotting cores, drinking in the core, rotting through our cores. We're forced to sense more inside gutless guts, screams that make us nuts. Hearing unheard screams unleashes unseen dreams, roaring from our cores, dreams for cure, now soar. Guide us through blocked doors, conjure and explore paths healing all cores. We pray evermore to feel through rot awe, make rot flowing ore, fueling awe-filled cores to stream with the more. So it has a happy ending. It began pretty rough, as has many of our lives. as has our world. We might have many complaints legitimate about government, but one anthropologist in New Guinea, around the turn of the century, I believe, there were different tribes and they were carried on wars with each other. Like Hatfield and McCoy, generation after generation remembered their grievances and wanted to get back, like the Serbians and was it the Armenians or the Serbians and the Turks, Germans and French, World War I, World War II. And so the creation of a government in New Guinea made it impossible for these tribes to continue fighting one another. It was against the law, and a bigger power would come in and punish them for fighting. So they learned to get along like a Pax Romana. So it's a challenge being human, as we have all noticed. We have these powerful, wild instincts. And it was once celebrated. We could make war and stop other tribes from enslaving us, stealing our women. So built in, like in tigers, lions, warrior ants, we've built in these aggressive impulses. How to tame them? Of course, if we just push them down, as I did, they'll rot. What can we do as a species to deal with all the difficult feelings and thoughts we have inside? Buddha said, if there was one more impulse or drive like sexuality, he never could have been the Buddha, couldn't have gotten the calm of the Buddha. Well, let's go back to the poem, Rot Art. Rotting to the core, rotten to the core, my infecting sores rot me through my core. What a revelation, trying to be a civilized human being, trying to be nice, to be good, and then discover, oh my, our core is rotten. Maybe from pushing down all those desires that healthily nourished, anger, sex, pain, hurt, all those feelings. When given compassion, they can be integrated. Instead of fury, we could have strength to work hard for what we want, like the Milwaukee Bucks and Giannis did last night, scoring 51 points with that powerful, controlled, talented drive to win. If you are my friend, here's what's in store. Irritated raw wounds corrupt your core. On this station many years ago, when we were in another location on Prospect Street, a dear friend of mine, Joel Keenan, sitting with my mother and I, said, Michael, I can't understand what is it about you that is so irritating, because he loved me. But I was irritating, and one of the things was, this is my translation, was trying so hard to be a good friend and not realizing, like my great dance teacher, Patrick Crowley, revealed to me, we have what we're looking for. And eventually, with practice, we could learn what Taoists learn. Effortless effort. We have deeper in us than our rot, as this poem eventually will say. We have a core of amour. But how to get there? If we've been crushed, if buds that grew naturally could flourish and blossom, but what if they're crushed? What if they're crushed? When we start to love, when you are my love, treated like a whore. I can apologize to my many women friends, make amends where I can. I thought women were there to help heal me, while I did good to help them, hiding from my rotten core. So when you are my love, and it seeps out, treated like a whore, festering with sores, will rot many cores. Will love making war. My beloved first wife and I loved fighting often. I think one of the reasons we broke up was I stopped fighting. You know the old joke, when the sadist asks the masochist, the sadist says, please hit me. What does the masochist say? No, no. So I stopped hitting this wonderful woman, not that I could see it and feel it. And so it got lonely. And instead of attacking each other, we had no-hold-barred discussions. Sometimes for 8 hours, we could say whatever comes to our heart and mind, and then make love. Eventually, she wanted us not to make up love. We lost our patterns, and we lost our marriage. We'll love making war, breaking all the laws, explode rotting cores, drinking in the gourd. Remember when I was about 10 with my grandfather on the line for Radio City Music Hall to see Captain Hornblower. And he cut right in front of the line that was going around the block. And when people said, don't do that, he said, nah. He loved breaking all the laws. And maybe even drinking in the core, their complaint. Rotting through our cores, were forced to sense more. Inside gutless guts, screams that make us nuts. This is both personal and for our world. So many screams of the people in power by oppressing, crushing all the people who have less power than them. Our Native American brothers, pipelines are going through their land, polluting their water and fields. Some brave friend of mine went to Minnesota in solidarity with the indigenous people, locked herself, I believe, into one of the machines. May get a sentence of a year, a fine of $5,000. Winona Duke, the leader of the indigenous people, was just arrested. We oppress ourselves and workers, indigenous people, and they're hurting badly. But somehow, through the oppression, screams, certainly, hearing unheard screams, unleashes unseen dreams, roaring from our cores, dreams for cure now soar. What if the indigenous people of the world, in solidarity, were able to stop oppression? The way labor unions were successful in the 1930s and 40s. Dreams for cure. There was a dream of a European Union to stop all the European countries from fighting and destroying each other. World War I, World War II, many wars before. Dreams for cure. We want a world where all people life free for life to live, pursuit of happiness. Our lives are sacred. So these dreams for cures now soar, guide us through blocked doors, and the doors really are blocked. The pipeline people do not want us to interfere with their profits unless we're too irritating and it's no longer profitable. Remember Frederick Douglass, the black slave who taught himself to write and was a champion for the black people. A year before he died, someone asked him what to do. He said, agitate, 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 just like a washing machine. We keep agitating or irritating. Like the women's movement. Women get the vote. Women are getting closer to equal pay. My mother just aspired to be a secretary, longed to be a therapist. That's no longer the case. Gay people, after being oppressed, disdained, are gaining equality. Physically challenged people, sexually transgendered people. We're getting freer day by day. Guide us through blocked doors. Conjure and explore paths healing all cords. Once we can stop both the internal oppression and the external oppression, the buds that were oppressed in us can begin to grow. We can blossom, no longer oppressing ourselves either. Paths healing all cords, we pray evermore. Is there an energy, a reality like spring that is healing? No accident. The resurrection happened in spring. There is a spring in the earth every year, of course. Can we spring and be more and more healed? To feel through rot awe. To feel this power of spring, power of nature. One great philosopher, Spinoza, said God is everything and everyone. God is nature naturing itself. God is nature growing, and nature by its very nature grows. We're all part of one another and part of a growing God. We pray evermore to feel through rot awe, to feel this spring power, this divine power, this growing power through us all. Make rot flowing ore. Recycle our rot. Use our anger well. Use our rot well. Just like we have recycling plants. What can we make out of rot? You can go places and say, this bag was made out of recycled plastic. Make rot flowing ore, fueling awe-filled cords. Through the rot can we feel the awe. We're all truly awesome. And we'll get there. If I could even get to the place where I know some of us with this poem, if I could, anyone can. Fueling awe-filled cords to stream with a more. Underneath it all, we're all connected. Part of the web of life. Part of even the web of, since according to Spinoza, everything's alive. Stones and rivers, and of course trees, stars, the sun. And attracting one another. Sun reaching out, nourishing us, streaming us with amor. Hope for all of us, folks. On and word and upward. Rot art. Rotting to the core. Rotten to the core. Our infecting sewers rot us through our cores. If you are my friend, here's what's in store. Irritated raw wounds corrupt your core. When you are my love, treated like a whore, festering with sores, will rot many cores. Will love making war, breaking all the laws, explode rotting cores, drinking in the core, rotting through our cores. We're forced to sense more. Inside, gutless guts screams that make us nuts. Hearing unheard screams unleashes unseen dreams. Roaring from our cores, dreams for cure now soar. Guide us through blocked doors, conjure and explore paths healing all cores. We pray evermore to find through rot awe, make rot flowing ore, fueling awe-filled cores to stream with the more. Have an awesome week. May we all stream with the more.